Welcome back to another Bosses in Action follow-up boss. And today we've got a co-host with me, Mark Rader. What's up, Mark?
What's up, everyone? How we doing? Hey, Tristan, what's going on?
What's up,
Hello,
dude?
Lisa.
DJ at night, real estate extraordinaire in the morning.
Like that Zac Efron movie, whatever. I forgot what it's called.
That's funny, dude. That's funny. Well,
There's
Mark Rader.
a slogan where it's like I have to do this DJ job so that I can follow my dreams as being a realtor.
That's awesome. I love that. That's so cool. And today we're going to be talking to Lisa Vo. Lisa, what's up?
What's up? Hi, Tristan. Hi, Mark. Hi, Follow Boss community.
We've got Lisa from Simply Closed. And if you missed the first one, it's inside of the YouTube page. So you can go in there, find it. We talked all about transaction management setup, and we're going to continue that conversation because now Lisa is also a consultant on Follow Up Boss. So if you have questions or you just stuck somewhere, Lisa can help you out. But today we're going to be diving into really the transaction process and how she uses Follow Up Boss. So we can guide you through that. And when I say we, it's just Lisa. We're listening in. And we're going to be asking questions with you. So Lisa, thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks for welcoming me back. I'm super excited. So got a lot of feedback from the last time and also been just continue watching the Bosses in Action webinar with other people are doing. And even my Follow Boss Mastermind group, I got some great ideas from them. And so, yeah, it just kind of spiraled into what it is today. And I am loving it. I'm just talking to agents pretty much almost every day on their systems, what they're doing, what their pain points are, and just kind of guiding them along the way. So yeah, if you want to, yeah, we can just kind of dive right in if y'all don't have anything else.
Yeah, let's dive right in. Unless, Mark, do you have anything?
I am writing down questions. I'll jump in. I want to hear what Lisa has to say first, real quick.
Always smart. Yeah, let me see if I can share my screen.
You're wearing the Follow-Up Boss sweater.
I am. I'm going to rock this as much as possible because it took me like about 7 years to get it.
Wait, hold on a second.
You need one.
I need a Follow-Up Boss sweater. This is actually this is their fine print Follow-Up Boss crocodilian.
No, it's not.
That's funny. Maybe you can tag Dan in the Follow Boss community and see if he'll send you one.
May I have a sweater, please, Dan?
Yes, please, Dan. All right, so let's dive in. I've got 3 things to share for you quickly, but basically we're going to dive in a little bit more about how to manage multiple deals. So I know a lot of people have been asking this, and I got this. Actually, I'm going to do a shout out to Shay Heron, which was on also the last Follow Up Boss webinar as well last year, and also one of my other agents that I was talking to him about, Michael Majarma. So I kind of got this from, a combination of both. So we're going to dive in a little bit. So basically, let's say you've got Brad Pitt. We're going to use the same example. He is buying and selling with us, and we've got multiple deals, right? So what in the world do we do with him? So I've got my main contact. He's here, Brad Pitt. And what I did with, from Michael's idea, he said, why don't we just create a contact with the deal name on it? Because that was kind of the issue we're having. The action plans weren't attaching to the property. We couldn't figure out which task goes to what. And so that's what we're doing here. So 123 Main Street is what he's buying. And 987 Main Street is what he's selling. So what we did is we added him to the deals. So he's there. And then now if I have a task for today, let's say I've got to follow up with him tomorrow. When I go to my task now for the future, I'll see 123 Main Street and see my task for that. So if you've been doing your action plans, trying to apply it to the property, this will work for that. Okay.
Huh. I love that.
And
nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so what do you do after it closes, right? Which is what I got from Shay. And what you do is basically you select both of them. Okay. We'll go ahead and merge them. So we're going to merge the people. You want to keep your contact as your primary, but also make sure you merge them as a relationship, because that's going to bring over all the communication, all your notes, emails, texts, and things like that. So let's say we close this file, we're merging them over. So now it's gone, it's in your trash. But all your communication will come over and it'll tell you that it merges and everything will be all in one place.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah. And then from here, you can also add the relationships and things like that or remove them. So because I had them under a relationship, you'll want to just delete the duplicate. So like same thing here for 987 Main Street, it's pending. I would want to add Brad Pitt and his information because anytime his phone number comes over or his email, you'll make sure that it's all added to the deal's contact.
That's awesome.
Nice. I like
So,
that. And
Lisa, how is it working with Brad Pitt?
It's been fantastic. I wish he would marry me, but I think my husband might have an issue with that.
that's good. I love the creativity behind this, Lisa. The last time we talked, you showed us how you added the name of the home, right? The street and the street address as the person. So that was really smart because a lot of people are wondering still, the ones that are watching, they're wondering, well, how the hell did we start this, right? So can you go through that really quick before you transition to everything else?
Yeah, so before I was adding this, so let's say you wanted to follow up on inspections, right? And so my action plans would, be automated every time I changed the stage. My pending action plan would show up, but all my tasks didn't have an address. So I literally have to manually go through my 20, 30, 40, tasks on my action plan and manually change the address. So that's why, I started creating this with, Michael's help that, I just put in the deals as the contacts and then merged them at the end, like what Shay had, taught us on the last Follow Up Boss webinar. So now what I do is I just base everything off the deals. It hasn't been released yet. I'm waiting for Follow Up Boss community to set that up, but we're going to soon have these deals custom fields in here. And then that's going to hopefully power your smart list a little bit more. I don't know if the deals action plans are coming one day in the near future, but that would replace everything that we're manually having to do right now and merging people and creating duplicates.
All right, perfect. I love that. So part of
super helpful.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, no, it's just super helpful because like what I've been doing for the longest time with Follow Up Boss is I've just been creating a task for that client. Let's say it's like Ed or Brad. Let's say Brad Pitt, for example. Brad Pitt, and then in the task of like home inspection is March 8th or whatever. And then it gets kind of a little bit confusing after a while, especially if they buy or sell. This is nice though. This is really cool how you can merge them together and kind of make it very, very organized.
Yeah. So now you're tracking it by deal and by contacts. So, and it's the same thing with the stages. I'll have my stages by the lead communication, but also I have my transaction, the deal stages as well. So that way everything gets automated with an action plan. Yep.
All right. And if we're going to set this up ourselves, kind of like what we went through last time when you showed us everything, where would we start? Because the easiest thing to do is just to hire you to do this all. Right?
Yes.
The hardest thing to do would be to do this ourselves. But what are we looking for if we're going to do this ourselves?
So main thing you're going to do is really no different than creating a contact. So as long as you master that, you can master this. So let's just pretend we're adding a new person. We'll do the little icon on top. Let's say we're doing 456 Main Street now and just add the person, right? Okay. So we're creating this just like a person. And then we're adding our contacts. So Brad Pitt is my first person. He's going to be the husband. You'll put his phone number, make sure you put his email address. And I'm loving this blur feature if y'all haven't been using it.
Right?
Yeah.
Built in. I love that.
Yep. And let's say he's divorcing Angelina Jolie. So I'm going to add her in here also in case I need to call her from my phone. And she's going to be, Jolie, and she's going to be the ex-wife.
Like this, like this. It's just
so
like
we're going to add her. Yeah, just like real life. So and basically right from there, we're just going to add your pending. And once you do that, it should add your action plan. And there's all my tasks for today. So now if I'm working the file, I'm going through a bunch of things and I need to go through today's task. Everything attached to 456 Main Street will show up here and I'll just knock them out as I'm going through my day.
Okay, along with everything else, is there a way for you to just identify and filter out just that property so we know what we need to do that day for that property?
I haven't figured that part yet out. So I'll just usually go and click on one of my tasks, and then I'll work off of this task list.
Awesome. All right. So now question for you specifically, if we're hiring you to do the transaction for us, is that something that's possible? Like Mark and I are like, hey, you know what? Lisa's awesome. Let's hire her. How would that work? As far as, do we need our own follow-up boss? Do we use yours? How does that process flow?
Yeah, so because of the last webinar, it's been so widely popular that I have been hired for some transaction management setups. And Tristan also has some guides and freebies to give away to y'all. And yeah, basically what I do is I log into their follow-up boss. You have to have your own account. And what I'll do is I'll go through, basically walk through your entire operations. I'll ask you, what are your current MLS stages? And I'll mirror that. So that's what I'll put here. So if you're like, for us in Texas, we have active, option pending, pending, closed, withdrawn, terminated. I'll mirror that as your follow-up boss stages. And then we just get really basic, like, let's write out all your steps that happens during the active phase for a listing. What happens and who all is involved in your option pending stage? Who's in charge of sending out the email template for when is the option period check due? When is the inspection due? And a lot of times, most of these things are assigned to your transaction coordinator or your assistant or a co-agent that you're working with. And so it's been nice to go through that process. So I have a worksheet that I use. I just have it in an Excel spreadsheet. You answer a couple of questions for me, and then I literally customize your stages. I customize your fields, basically everything on your contract intake form. So from our last webinar, like things like the first name of the title company, the last name of the title company, the email address of the title company, basically breaking down everything attached to that file so that within 30 seconds, you can look at your custom fields in a glance on the go or at your desktop. And then from there, I will customize, again, your action plans. And then we'll basically automate everything. As long as you can commit, just like an agent, to changing this to hot, warm, or cold, as long as the transaction coordinator commits to doing pending, closed, option pending stage, everything will automate on the TC side.
Nice.
Very cool.
You built it all in. Michael says, you did it, Lisa. So happy you played with this and got it going. So
Thanks, Michael, for the idea.
all right. There's two questions here. One is from Alicia. What's up, Alicia? Do you only add the property once it's pending, question mark, or do you do the same when it's a listing or when it's just an AO with subjects?
Yes, so I do it whenever we have something signed in hand. So it would be your listing agreement. And yes, I would add the property once it's in there because we got to start the action plan. And then for the buyer side, it's the same thing. I would put it in once you get your contract. So I wouldn't do it beforehand, like if you have just a buyer's rep agreement. You could do that at the very beginning if you're doing like the pre-listing and stuff like that. I do pre-listing for some of my clients. But yeah, I would do it at the listing agreement stage and your contract. Because it's basically, if you think about whenever you turn over a file to an assistant is when you would want that to be into your follow boss.
All right, sweet. Maria, great question, Maria. I was thinking it. I'm glad you asked it. Is there a way to add tasks to a calendar and invite the client to it to keep everyone updated?
Yes. Is she I assume you're talking about like inspection due and things like that?
Yeah, anything. Yeah, you got it.
Okay. So as part of my action.
So, Maria,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm used to doing that as well. I would normally add the calendar directly on mine and add it to the agent. So that's where I would use the appointments. And this is where I would do inspection due, right? And then you could customize your types if you want to, track it, which is, smart. And then here I would just put in the date, the time, the location. I wouldn't put, a date because there's no real location, but you could also put here for the property address. That way, which one it's, for. But now that you have the deals as a contact name, you don't even need this because it tells you what property it is under your invites. Now you're going to have to add Brad Pitt because he's not, part of the deals, but you can send them an invite and it will override the 456 Main Street because you don't have an email address for them, but it will send it to me and to the person. And you can also invite the agent if you want to. So my husband's on my team. I'm going to send him an invite and I'm going to create the appointment.
That's awesome.
You know, I could see this being very, very useful for, let's say it's on the listing side and you have, in this day and age, 15 showings in one day. So you can kind of show your client, hey, we have a time block from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up till 6 o'clock. And these are the times that we're going to be showing the property.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really good, man. I like that. All right, Julio, what's up, Julio? He says, are the action plans available? And I think I'm going to answer that, Lisa. Yes, they're available, Julio, but you got to pay for them. So hit up Lisa. She will definitely be happy to help you out. She's helped out a whole bunch of people on Follow Up Boss. Lisa, this is a perfect time. How do we get a hold of you? How do we hire you to do this for us? Where do we go?
Sure. So I have a website. It's fub.simplyclosed.house. So if you go there, all my services are there. I even offer a free 30-minute consultation if you want me just pick apart your Follow Boss system. I call it Follow Boss coaching, and I've been getting a lot of requests for that. So sometimes I may work on your Follow Boss system. Sometimes I may just talk you through a couple of things and you're technical enough and you know how to do it. So it's been great and working out very well. And yeah, I'm actually learning from other agents as well. So this tip for the deals with the address in it, that came from Michael. So even if you want to just talk to me and just hang out and give me ideas, I'd be happy to also give you a shout out if I implement it in the system. So that's the best way to do it.
Lisa, what's your email? What's the website again?
I think I just linked it in the chat, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, you put in the chat. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
But are you looking out? Come on now, Lisa, I got your back.
I like it.
Thank you.
Connect me with Brad Pitt when you can, though.
Michael
Appreciate
says,
it.
I also use a property email address in the main email, like Skyslope, Glide, or any
Yeah.
of the other emails. Tracks a little more just in case. I like that.
Smart idea. That's right. I just started using Skyslope with my new broker. So thank you for that.
That was really good. Let me post that for, oh, you did it. Good. You got it. Good job. All right. Question now from Anonymous. What's your favorite software application for intake forms?
Ooh, I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest, because it's one extra step. And I, for 9 years, have never gotten an agent to fill one out. But that's just me. Basically, I just take the contract and I use these custom fields and I fill it out myself for them. So I actually do not use an intake form. If you would like to use one, a lot of the TCs in the world use Cognito forms, Jot forms. But as far as I know, Cognito Forms works really well with Follow Up Boss integration. So you can Zapier that information in if you want to use Google Forms or something else out there. So if you just want to start with something really basic and you're on Google systems, just use Google Forms for now.
Yeah, pretty easy. I like that. Good answer. Let's go to David. If we're working with the same client, but they have multiple properties we're selling at the same time, how can we have communication emails for the individual properties to go out just to those properties and not the other ones for that seller?
Right. So you're going to do the same thing, create a contact with the property address for every single deal that you're working with. And then what's going to be your best friend is the custom fields. So every custom field is specific to that deal only.
Easy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, now that we interrupted you with a whole bunch of questions, what else do you have for us?
Well, I just have two more quick things. Email templates. So I started creating my, basically my email templates with videos. So if you haven't been doing that, definitely start doing that. So here, basically I'll use my merge fields. I'll add all of the buyer's agents, title company, things like that. But now it's not in this one. Let me go back to my Brad Pitt example. But here it says contract to close, the next steps, contracts, we've executed a contract, option period. And now what I did is I created a Loom video this morning and I put the option period with all my verbiage. Basically, I just copy and pasted this, put that into the text background into Loom, recorded me in the little corner talking. And now they can just click on the video if they don't want to read through all my verbiage in my email intro.
Perfect.
Awesome.
I like that.
Yeah. And it's very easy. You just copy the embed code over to email template.
Good. Thank you for that. I've got Michael adding one more thing. Also in the deal section, he says, use the links to link to your SkySlope, Command, DocuSign, Glide, etc.
Oh, very smart
Really
as
good
well.
show.
There, maybe we should have Michael on the next one.
You know what? We can do both of you guys. That would be amazing. Have both
Yeah,
of you together.
that'd be great.
Michael, we're gonna do that. Lisa and Michael.
Save the date.
I
Yeah,
like
so
that. All
I
right.
normally put the Google Drive link as well. I didn't link it for this one, but yes, link any files, SkySlope, that's a smart one, DocuSign and .loop.
All right, perfect. Let me check one other thing here because someone asked for, here, let me get this. It's a question for you. It says a free guide link on the website doesn't work. Is it possible to get the link to the guides in the webinar?
Oh, apologize for that. I will get my webmaster to fix that, but yes, Tristan has the 2 links to the guide and to the setup, and I believe we will try to post it somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe in the chat. Okay.
Let me grab that. I'm asking Barry Monch, can you please text that over to me so I can put that in here? In the meantime, Cindy asked, well, we need the platform level in FUB which has the ability for the transaction coordinator role for you to work with us, or how can we work with you on this?
You do not need any specific level. I highly always recommend the highest level because you get the dialer and so many other features. But yes, as long as you have a Follow Boss account and it's a paid plan, basically just contact me, schedule a time on my calendar on my website, and it'll be a 30-minute discussion. And then from there, we'll discover everything that I may need to help you with. And that's about it. So no, you do not need the upgraded highest tier plan. Any plan will work as long as you have a Follow Boss account.
Oh, easy. I love that.
Mhm.
All right, while we're looking for the link, because my team doesn't have it, I want to show something you shared with me. It's a transaction management guide, and this is from you. So it kind of gives me a clear indication. I'm going to stop sharing your screen really quick so we
Sure.
can just show this. This way, if anybody has any questions in regards to what it is that you do on the transaction management side, these are all the things that you do. Now, is it in any specific order, or we just put this out here just so people can see?
Yep, that should be the specific order. So first thing you're going to do is create your custom fields. So you'll need that on your intake form or your contract form. If not, we can just create one for you if you want to hire me. And then create an action plan that matches your MLS. So if you have one for option pending, you'll want one for name it TC, so you have it in the right order, as well as create a TC folder so you're not mixing up your action plans, and then match it with your MLS. Then create an automation. So anytime it triggers a stage change to match your MLS for your TC fields, then it'll automatically automate that action plan for you. And then create your smart list from there. And that way your TC can work on their daily workflow, just like a buyer's agent or listing agent would for their leads.
I love that. Well, look, it's probably a lot easier to just get you instead of trying to get someone outside who has to then learn the whole process. This makes a lot more sense just to go to you.
Yeah, and I get a lot of questions as well. And my whole goal is just to do a one-time setup, just like my friend Elena. My goal is not to be hired as a full-time in-house TC or anything like that. So I really love to walk my agents through. This is how we did it. At the very end, I do a follow-up video with them for 30 minutes or an hour with them, their entire team, their TC, their admin, and it's recorded so they know how the TC system works. And then from there, if you ever have, a new TC or admin join you, you can just have them watch the video, and it gives an overview of, day one, this is what you will review and do, and day two, just start playing with the transaction, put a test, person, 2 or 3 of them, apply that, and just make sure whoever's coaching them or monitoring them or supervising them is just there in line with your operations.
I love that.
Lisa, what's the number one thing that you see currently in your day-to-day operation where you see the biggest problem, and then what of a solution that you provide? What's the number one thing that you see?
Number one thing is people just have too many systems or none at all. So that's probably about 90% of my calls, and that's why they either hire me, Elena, or any of these follow-up boss consultants. And it's basically getting everyone to agree on one system and taking it down to the very basic level. If you just need literally just lead and close do it, right? Don't try to get too fancy and try to implement everything at one time. Even when I do services for people, I take it at baby steps. Let's master this, and then let's move on to the next thing. And then that's why my Follow Boss coaching has been really helpful for people, because I'll do once a month with them for 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, we talked about this. This is what you want to work on. I just walked you through how to do it. Let's meet up next month and see how you're doing. Did it work? Did it not? Do we need to bring in Osiris with, Jeff Moore? Do we need to bring in Elena to revamp your systems? And that's kind of like gives them security that somebody's kind of walking them through individually instead of just an overview like, hey, I got to do all these automations, all these action plans, and I have nowhere to start. So start very basic, have something in place. Obviously doing it yourself, take some time would be great. If you don't, hire an expert, do it one time, but you still need to know what's going on in the background if you ever want to make a change. But luckily, I think some of the Follow Boss consultants, like even myself, if you make a change in your operations later, just give me a call. I'll update it for you. I'm not going to charge you a whole other setup just to change one or two things.
Cool. Good question, Mark. Two things. Michael says, Lisa, can you briefly cover Airtable and its connection?
Sure. I was just actually playing this, so I think I need the connection again to be a co-host. All right. Okay. So I was actually just doing it this morning. I am not a Zapier person. I think if you read my post on Follow Boss, I am an Integromat, which is now Make, which I have just rolled off of that. So I'm starting all over again with my Airtable. First thing you want to do is just connect the two, which is pretty easy to do. You attach your API key for Follow Boss, API key for Airtable, and that's about it. The main thing I'm using this for is tracking my production. So you'll want to match over the fields. And let me see if I can go back as much as possible. So here you'll have certain things that you can send over. I wanted certain things to match, and there is very limited things. I think Jeff is your Zapier king, so he can probably do more than I can. But main thing I wanted was the stage, right? So if whatever stage it's in that matches my MLS, it'll pull over. Here, I wanted the contract price, which you'll have a field that matches in Follow Boss, and then my projected closing date. I haven't gotten the custom fields to map over yet. I may need a higher plan, or maybe I need to call my buddy Jeff to see how I can do that. But basically, you can test it out, and every single time a new deal gets added, whether it's closed or pending, it'll automatically update your Airtable. And this is what I use to track my production. So if anyone was using Optum before, or they're using Sisu, this is a very easy way to basically break down your commissions, track all your production, see how many leads have really closed. And it's nice to also be able to create an interface. If you've ever used the new Airtable, basically it's an automated report that can be emailed to you in a pretty filtered, view. So I can go in a whole other session with Airtable, but that's what I use for reporting if anybody else is interested in, that kind of service. But also Google Spreadsheets works just as well. So don't feel like you have to integrate.
Lisa, for those who don't know, Airtable is more like it's a tracking system where you can track your numbers and you can track your growth and where you need to grow, correct?
Yes. So it basically allows you to do multiple different forms. So if you're used to like an Excel spreadsheet where you track everything, it's great for those people. But if you have somebody who likes the Kanban view, like the Trello view, you can switch it without disrupting your data, which is what I also like about it as well. So Let's say I want to do it by status. It's not letting me do it. So there, you can create it. And now I have a closed, like if I want to view this view all the time, that would be my default. And then, my admin could be working off of the grid view, which is more like Excel.
Yep. Airtable is super powerful for workflows and data because it connects to so many other software programs. I know that's how Clubhouse was running at the very beginning through Airtable, which is great. So yeah, very, very, very user-friendly and very powerful. Andy, hope we answered that one. Let me see what other questions we have here as we wrap it up. Jane says, how do you know what your platform level is? Great question.
Great question. You will go, if I'm not mistaken, I think either admin or you just go here to your profile where billing is, and it'll tell you which product name you have.
Perfect. You got
we
that.
do have another question in the chat from Milad. do you have action plans for Canadian markets?
Ooh.
Any chance we can get a list of the action plans available?
So number one, for Canada, they do not have transaction coordinators that I know of. They are just starting to. So my good friend Zach, which you'll probably see in the chat group in the success community, he can probably tell you more about it. But yeah, I don't know of any transaction coordinators yet. So I don't know of any action plans. Number two, for action plans availability, I normally customize it to every agent because I feel like every agent has their own work process and checklist. So there's not an out in the box one that I can just give you that says, hey, this is A, B, and C to do at every phase. Just like your MLS stages are different than Texas. So that's why mine is a little bit more customizable. I'm working with Elena to see if we can get something more standard if you don't have anything at all. But basically I work off of my worksheet based off of your MLS. And then from there, I can kind of guide you what every stage you should have. So I'll have probably a basic standard one for TC checklist, but as of right now, there is not one.
An untapped market.
Yeah.
Not for long, Mark. Not for long. Watch Lisa. It's like a week later. Oh, look what I built. New company.
Right.
Oh, this is so good. Alicia says, this is my first I've ever heard of Airtable. Oh, jump into Airtable. You're going to love it. A lot of real estate agent teams use it. It's usually more prevalent in the tech world, so very prevalent in Silicon Valley. So, Lisa, anything we missed that you wanted us to ask you that we didn't?
I think that's it. We didn't really get to audit tags, but basically I got this from Brian Curtis, my friend at Osiris. Basically, you can create a tag called Audit TC. And because I was finding that I was having to go through the same files every single day based off of my tags, and I wanted a smart list. So what I did is I would just tag it Audit TC, and then I created an automation where on the first task for the day would be audit day 1. And then it would show up on my audit smart list. So then that way I know these are my 10 people I need to contact today. And then day 2, the audit day 1 would remove the tag, and then I would add audit day 2. So I would keep going for about 3 days. So I know from the beginning when I put in my contact, if I'm missing anything within those first 3 days, which is what my VA will handle for me, they'll make sure that all the custom fields are filled out, the action plans are correct, any dates that need to be moved over. They basically do my cleanup and audit my TC file before I actually touch it.
Got it. I like that. All right, Lisa, one more time. How do we get a hold of you? Is it fub.simplyclosed.house? Is that how we go?
Yep. That would be the best place. Again, I think I gave my phone number last time, but 346-475-2489. You can text me. I do get a lot of messages throughout the day. I'll probably have my VA start handling that. But yeah, the website would be the best just to watch the videos, see the services I offer, connect, book a time with me. That'd probably be the best one-on-one.
All right. And then the other part that I wanted to mention is that we couldn't get the links for the download. So if you could do me a favor and post it into the Follow Up Boss community.
Sure.
That people could just grab it there and then just put your information so people know how to get a hold of you there as well.
Will do.
And then Mark, you suck because you don't have a sweater. So that
No. I have a crocodilian luxury brand of follow-up.
You know what, Mark? I have like 2 extra FUB hats. When I see you this week, I'll give it to you.
You know what? I will take one of those gladly. only if the one that's really worn and has a little bit of like Tristan sweat marks.
It has ketchup on it on the side. So
I'm more of a mustard guy, but I'll take it.
Lisa, thanks for being on. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all so much.
Brad,
okay, have a good day. Thanks, we'll do. Bye.